The emergency alarm echoed through the Galactic Council station. Red lights flashed across every corridor. Ambassador Rena Park ran toward the main chamber, her boots hitting the metal floor hard. Something terrible had happened. Inside the council room, hundreds of alien representatives filled their seats. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few glowed with strange colors. They all looked scared. Captain Day Kwan stood near the human section, his face serious. He nodded at Rena when she arrived. "What happened?" Rena asked quietly. "The Lothi research ship. It's gone," Day whispered back. A large alien with 4 arms stood at the center podium. Commander Vex was the head of Council Security. His voice boomed across the room. "We received a distress signal 2 hours ago. The Lothi vessel Serenity's Hope was attacked near the Void Reach sector. 200 scientists were on board." The room filled with worried sounds. Different species made different noises when they were afraid. Some clicked, others hummed, and a few made sounds that hurt human ears. "We recovered one escape pod," Vex continued. "One survivor. She is a young scientist named Nira." The doors opened. Medical staff brought in a floating bed. On it lay a small alien with purple skin and large eyes. Nira looked weak. Her body shook even though she was wrapped in warm blankets. The Lothi were peaceful people. They never hurt anyone. They only wanted to learn and discover new things. "Can she speak?" someone asked from the crowd. "The Lothi are telepathic," Vex explained. "She can share what she saw directly into our minds. But I must warn you, what she experienced was horrible." Nira's eyes glowed softly. Suddenly, every person in the room saw the same images. A beautiful ship floating in space. Scientists working, laughing, sharing meals. Then darkness. Ships appeared from nowhere. They looked like giant insects made of metal and bone. The Krill had found them. The images showed violence. The Krill boarded the ship. They were 8 feet tall with sharp blades for arms. They moved like monsters from nightmares. The Lothi tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The scientists screamed. The hallways filled with blood. Nira's memory ended with her climbing into an escape pod. She watched through the window as her friends died. She watched as the Krill took the ship. Then she drifted alone in the darkness for hours, until the council found her. The telepathic connection ended. Many council members looked sick. Some were crying. Even the tough military representatives seemed shaken. "The Krill," Vex said slowly. "They have taken another ship. Another people destroyed." An old alien with tentacles spoke up. "We must warn all nearby systems. Tell them to evacuate. The Krill are moving through that sector." "We should increase our border patrols," another said. "We need better detection systems," a third suggested. Rena listened to them talk. They were all good ideas, but they were also running away. She looked at Day. He had the same expression she did. Humans thought differently than most other species in the galaxy. "We should prepare funeral ceremonies for the Lothi," Vex said sadly. "Honor their memory. Their sacrifice will be remembered." Day stood up. His voice was calm but clear. "We'll get them back." The room went quiet. Everyone turned to look at the human captain. "Excuse me?" Vex asked, confused. "We'll get them back," Day repeated. "The survivors. We're going to rescue them." Nervous laughter came from some council members. Others just stared. "Captain Day," Vex said gently, as if talking to a child, "there are no survivors. You saw what happened. The Krill don't take prisoners. They only kill and consume." Day pulled out a small device. He pressed a button. A holographic display appeared above the council floor. It showed the Lothi ship. Small dots blinked on the screen. 6 life signs, Day said. "Still active on that ship. Still alive. They're in stasis pods. The Krill must have put them there for later." The council members looked at each other. No one knew what to say. "You want to board a krill nest ship?" an alien asked, shocked. "That's impossible. It's suicide." "The krill have destroyed 12 civilizations in the past century," Vex said. His voice was harder now. "We have sent entire battle fleets against them. They all failed. No one has ever successfully boarded a krill ship and returned. You would be throwing away lives for nothing." Rena stood up next to Day. She was smaller than most beings in the room, but her voice carried power. 6 Lothi scientists are still alive. 6 people who did nothing wrong. 6 people who have families waiting for them. We don't leave people behind. That's not who we are." "This is madness," Vex said. "Humans, I know your species is young. You don't understand how dangerous the krill are. They are the apex predators of this galaxy. They fear nothing. They feel no mercy. You cannot win." Day smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret. "Commander Vex, with respect, you've never fought humans before. We've been fighting each other for thousands of years. We know war better than anyone in this galaxy. And we have something you don't." "What could you possibly have that we don't?" Vex demanded. "We have a protocol for situations exactly like this," Rena said calmly. "Captain Day, I am authorizing Ghost Protocol. Full operational freedom. Bring them home." Day nodded. He tapped his communication device. "Ghost Actual, this is Day. You are cleared for deployment. Single SOS confirmed. 6 lives at stake. Target is a krill nest ship. Council engagement rules are suspended. You are weapons-free. Bring our people home." The message was encrypted. No one in the council could hear the response. But they all saw Day's face relax slightly. Someone had answered. Someone had accepted the mission. "What is Ghost Protocol?" Vex asked. "We have no records of this in our database." Rena gathered her things. "You're about to find out. I suggest you prepare observation drones. You'll want to record this for your war colleges. This will be educational." She and Day left the council chamber. Behind them, hundreds of alien representatives argued and worried. They thought the humans were going to die. They thought this was a waste of time. They had no idea what was about to happen. They had no idea what Ghost Protocol meant. They had no idea that humanity kept secrets. Very dangerous secrets. Far away, in a hidden part of space, an old asteroid station suddenly came to life. Lights turned on in the darkness. Systems that looked dead started running, and 5 soldiers received their orders. The ghosts were awake, and they were going hunting. The asteroid field looked dead. No lights, no signals, nothing but floating rocks and ice. This part of space had been marked as empty for decades. Ships passed through without looking twice. That was exactly the point. Deep inside the largest asteroid, something stirred. A message arrived through encrypted channels, special codes that only a few people in the entire human military knew. The message was short and clear. Inside the asteroid, a man sat in a dark room. Colonel Tae-Yoon read the message 3 times. Then he stood up and pressed a button on the wall. Lights flickered on throughout the hidden base. The dead station was alive. "Team, this is Tae. Wake up. We have work." 4 other people moved through the base. They had been resting, training, waiting. This was what they always did. Wait for the call, then move fast. Lieutenant Mira Choi was in the weapons room when the alert came. She smiled and started packing her gear. Explosives, cutting tools, tech equipment. She could break through any wall or door. She could hack any computer system. And she loved her job. Sergeant Jin Kong was cleaning his rifle when he got the message. The rifle was special. It could shoot through walls and hit targets from over a kilometer away. Jin never missed. He put the rifle in its case and headed to the briefing room. Corporal Hana Song closed her medical textbook. She was studying alien biology again. Knowing how different species worked helped her save lives. It also helped her know where to shoot if saving wasn't an option. She grabbed her medical kit and combat gear. Private Wu Nam was the biggest person on the team. He carried weapons that normal soldiers needed 2 people to lift. Heavy cannons, breach charges, armor plating. When Wu walked into a room, enemies ran away. Smart ones anyway. They all met in the war room. Colonel Tay stood in front of a large holographic display. The display showed a ship, but it wasn't like normal ships. This one looked organic, like it was grown instead of built. It had sections that looked like bones and others that seemed to pulse like hearts. "This is our target," Tay said. "Krill nest ship, 4 kilometers long, estimated crew of 400 Krill warriors, plus drones and workers. Current location is Void Reach Sector." Mira whistled. "The scary bug guys? The ones that make council species pee themselves?" "The same," Tay said. "They attacked a Lothi research vessel, killed most of the crew, but 6 Lothi are still alive in stasis pods. Our mission is simple. Go in, get them out, don't die." Jin was already studying the ship's structure on his datapad. 4 kilometers is a lot of ship. Where are the prisoners?" "Deep inside." Tay pointed at a spot on the display, near the Queen's chamber. That's where they keep fresh food. "Lovely," Hana said. "So we have to go through the entire ship to reach them?" "Not through, around, under, whatever works," Tay said. "The Krill think they're unstoppable. They've never faced human special operations. They expect enemies to come at them with fleets and big weapons. They don't expect 5 people to sneak onto their ship and rob them." Wu cracked his knuckles. The sound was loud in the quiet room. "What's our gear loadout?" "Everything," Tay said simply. "Stealth suits, personal shields, heavy weapons, plasma charges. The Council doesn't need to know what we're bringing. Their rules of engagement don't apply to Ghost Protocol." The team started moving. They knew what to do. They had done impossible missions before. This was just another day at work for them. In the armory, they suited up. Their armor was black and seemed to drink in light. It had technology that bent around them, making them almost invisible. Their weapons were powerful enough to damage small ships. Their personal shields could stop most attacks that would kill a normal person. Mira packed her explosives carefully. "You know, I read the file on the Krill. The Council has been fighting them for 100 years, lost every major battle." "That's because the Council fights fair," Jin said, loading special ammunition into his rifle. "We don't." Hana checked her medical supplies. "The reports say Krill ships have a biological defense system. The ship itself attacks intruders, acid, toxins, living walls." "Good thing we brought antidotes," Tay said, walking into the armory. He was already in his armor. "And if the biological defenses don't work on us, they'll be very surprised." Wu lifted his heavy cannon onto his shoulder. "I was worried this would be boring, breaking into an impossible ship filled with monsters who've never been beaten. Finally, a challenge." They walked to the hangar bay. Their ship waited for them. It was small, sleek, and completely black. The ship was called Whisper because that's all anyone ever heard when it flew by. Nothing, not even a whisper. The ship's AI greeted them. "Hello, Ghost Unit. Destination confirmed. Void Reach Sector. Flight time, 6 hours. "Perfect," Tay said, sitting in the command chair. "That gives us time to prep. Mira, I want 3 entry plans. Jin, map their sensor blind spots. Hana, study Lothi biology. We need to know how to wake them safely from stasis. Wu, check all weapon systems twice." The team got to work. This was what they did best. Plan, prepare, execute. Hours passed. The Whisper flew through space, invisible to all scanners. It moved between dimensions slightly, never quite in normal space, never quite not. Human science had advanced in ways the Council never imagined. As they got close to the target, Tay called everyone together one more time. "Listen up! The Council is watching from a distance. They think we're going to die. They think this is impossible. Let's show them what humans can do." "No pressure," Mira joked. When have we ever failed? Jin asked. Never, Hana said firmly. And we're not starting today. Wu simply smiled. He was ready. The Whisper's sensors picked up the krill ship ahead. It was huge and disgusting. Parts of it moved and breathed. Weapons that looked like tumors covered its surface. Inside that ship, 6 innocent people waited to die. All systems ready, the AI reported. Stealth field at maximum. They cannot detect us. Tay looked at his team. These were the best soldiers humanity had ever trained. They had done things that most people thought were impossible. They had won fights that no one thought they could win. And they never, ever left anyone behind. Remember, Tay said quietly, this isn't about showing off. This isn't about proving humans are tough. This is about 6 scientists who did nothing wrong. 6 people who deserve to go home. That's why we're here. The team nodded. This was why they served. Not for glory or medals, but because someone had to stand up for those who couldn't fight back. Breach in 30 seconds, the AI said. Ghost Unit checked their weapons one last time. Tay stood up and moved toward the deployment bay. The others followed. They moved like shadows, like predators, like ghosts. The krill thought they were the scariest things in the galaxy. They thought nothing could challenge them. They thought wrong. The Whisper attached itself to the krill ship. It looked like a small parasite attaching to a massive host. The ship's biological defenses scanned it but found nothing threatening. Just another piece of space debris. Then Ghost Unit cut through the hull and disappeared inside. The hunt had begun. The inside of the krill ship was worse than any nightmare. The walls were not metal or plastic. They were organic, living tissue. They moved slightly, breathing. The floor was covered in something that felt like cartilage. Every surface dripped with moisture. The air smelled like rot and meat. Ghost Unit moved through the corridors like shadows. Their stealth suits kept them nearly invisible. Their boots made no sound, despite the wet floor. Each member had their helmet displays showing the same information. Heat signatures ahead. 400 krill life signs scattered through the massive ship, and deep inside, 6 weak signals. The Lothi. Far away, the Galactic Council watched through observation drones. The drones were tiny, almost impossible to detect. They floated near the krill ship and transmitted everything back to the Council station. Commander Vex stood in the observation room with Ambassador Rena and dozens of other council members. They watched the video feeds in silence. The screens showed the krill ship from outside. It looked like a sleeping monster. I still think this is suicide, Vex said quietly. Your soldiers are brave, but bravery alone won't save them. Rena didn't look away from the screens. Just watch. Inside the ship, Colonel Tay held up his fist. The team stopped immediately. His helmet display showed movement ahead. 3 krill warriors were walking their direction. Each warrior was 8 feet tall with blade arms that could cut through steel. Tay made a hand signal. Jin moved to the left. Mira went right. Hana and Wu stayed with Tay. They waited in the darkness. The krill walked closer. They made clicking sounds to each other. Some kind of language. They were relaxed, not expecting any danger. Why would they? No one ever attacked a krill nest ship. The first krill passed Jin's position. Jin's knife came out of the darkness and went through the creature's neck. The krill died without making a sound. Jin caught the body and lowered it quietly to the floor. The second krill turned at the movement. Mira shot it in the head with a silenced pistol. The shot was so quiet it sounded like someone tapping a desk. The krill dropped. The third krill opened its mouth to scream. Wu's hand grabbed it by the throat. He squeezed. The scream never came. Bones cracked. The krill went limp. 4 seconds. 3 krill dead. Ghost Unit kept moving. In the observation room, the council members stared in shock. Their screens showed the Ghost Unit's position moving deeper into the ship. Small red marks appeared on the map. Each mark was a dead krill. How are they doing this? an alien asked. The Krill have superior senses. They should detect the intruders. Human stealth technology, Rena explained. We've been developing it for 200 years. It's very good. The team moved through the ship's horrible corridors. They passed chambers filled with krill eggs. They saw rooms where the krill stored their victims' belongings, trophies from 12 dead civilizations. It made them angry, but they stayed focused. Jin's helmet computer calculated the best path forward. We need to go down 3 levels. There's a vertical shaft ahead, faster than using their ramps. Agreed, Tay said. Mira, can you cut through? Give me 30 seconds. Mira pulled out a small device. She placed it against the floor. The device hummed quietly. A circular section of the floor dissolved into liquid. Below was darkness and the sound of something breathing. Wu looked down. This ship is disgusting. Focus, Tay reminded him. We're here for the Lothi. They dropped down the shaft one by one. Their suits had small thrusters that slowed their fall. They landed softly on the level below. More corridors, more pulsing walls, more darkness. A group of krill appeared suddenly from a side passage. These were workers, not warriors. Smaller, weaker, but they could still raise an alarm. Jin shot 4 of them before they even saw Ghost Unit. Mira threw a knife that caught the 5th in the chest. Hana's pistol fired twice, dropping the last 2. 7 more dead. The team kept moving. Distance to target 800 meters. Tay's computer reported. But there's a problem. What problem? Mira asked. There are krill gathering ahead. A lot of them. Maybe 50 warriors in one chamber. We have to go through that chamber to reach the prisoners. Wu checked his heavy cannon. 50? That's barely warm-up. We can't fight 50 at once, Hana said. The noise would alert the entire ship. Then we go around, Jin suggested. Tay studied the map. There is no around. The chamber is the only path. The ship's biological structure blocks every other route. Mira smiled. Then we make our own path. Give me 2 minutes. She pulled out several small charges, explosive gel that could burn through almost anything. She placed them carefully on a wall. This wall is thinner. Beyond it is some kind of storage area. Should be empty. We blow through, cross the storage area, and come out past the warrior chamber. Do it, Tay ordered. The charges detonated. The explosion was quiet, more like a strong push than a bang. The wall opened up. Beyond was a large, dark space filled with containers. The team slipped through quickly. Mira sealed the hole behind them with quick foam. They crossed the storage area fast. On the other side, they cut through another wall. They emerged in a corridor beyond the warrior chamber. The krill never knew anyone was there. That's why we bring Mira, Wu said. Distance to target, 200 meters. Tay's computer updated. They were close now, so close. The 6 low-thy-life signs were just ahead. But there was one more obstacle. The readings showed a huge open space ahead, the Queen's chamber. And the Queen wasn't alone. Hundreds of krill surrounded her, maybe thousands. We have a problem, Jin said quietly. I see it, Tay replied. The stasis pods are in the Queen's chamber. We have to go in there. The team looked at each other. This was the hard part. Everything up to now had been stealth and speed. But you can't sneak past a room full of enemies to steal their prisoners, not when the room has only one entrance. Hana studied the chamber layout on her display. The stasis pods are against the far wall. If we go in fast, we can reach them in maybe 20 seconds, but getting out will be harder. We'll need a distraction, Mira said. Something big. Tay thought for a moment. Then he made a decision. Change of plans. We're not sneaking anymore. Jin, Wu, Mira, set up a defensive position here at the entrance. Hana, you're with me. We go in, grab the Lothi, bring them back. The team covers us. How long do you need? Wu asked. 3 minutes, maybe 4. We can hold for 4 minutes, Jin said confidently. Wu set up his heavy cannon facing the chamber entrance. They'll know we're here the second you step inside." "I know," Tay said. "That's why this is going to get loud. Everyone ready?" The team checked their weapons one final time. This was it. The easy part was over. Now came the hard part. Now came the fight. Tay and Hana moved to the chamber entrance. Beyond was a massive space filled with krill. The queen sat in the center, huge and terrible. Around her, hundreds of warriors stood guard, and against the far wall, 6 pods glowed softly. 6 Lothi waited inside, frozen in time, unaware that help had arrived. "For the 6, Tay said quietly. "For the 6, the team repeated. Then Tay and Hana ran into the chamber. Immediately, every krill turned toward them. The queen's voice boomed through the space, speaking in a language that sounded like breaking bones. The battle had begun, and the galaxy was about to learn what Ghost Protocol really meant. The queen's voice filled the chamber like thunder. Every krill warrior turned toward Tay and Hana. For a moment, everything was still. Then chaos erupted. Tay and Hana ran toward the stasis pods. Behind them, hundreds of krill warriors charged. Their blade arms reflected the dim light. Their mouths opened to show rows of sharp teeth. They made sounds like screaming metal. At the chamber entrance, Wu's heavy cannon roared to life. The weapon fired explosive rounds that hit like small missiles. Each shot blew apart 3 or 4 krill at once. Bodies flew through the air. The cannon's sound was deafening. Jin's rifle fired with precision. He aimed for the larger krill, the commanders who directed the swarm. Each shot went through a skull perfectly. Krill fell with holes in their heads, dead before they hit the ground. Mira threw grenades that exploded in bright flashes. Krill nearby went blind and confused. Then her automatic rifle cut them down. She moved like a dancer, never staying in one place. Bullets couldn't hit what they couldn't track. 30 seconds! Tay shouted as he ran. A krill warrior jumped at him from the side. Tay slid under its blade arms and shot it in the stomach. The creature collapsed. Hana was right behind him, her weapon firing constantly. They fought their way toward the pods. In the observation room far away, the council members watched in stunned silence. The screens showed the battle from multiple angles. 5 humans fighting hundreds of krill. It should have been impossible. But Ghost Unit made it look easy. "This is incredible," someone whispered. Commander Vex couldn't speak. He just stared at the screens. His hands gripped the console hard enough to hurt. Ambassador Rena allowed herself a small smile. "I told you to watch." Back in the chamber, Tay and Hana reached the stasis pods. The pods were made of organic material, connected to the ship's walls with tubes and veins. Inside each pod, a Lothi floated in green liquid. They looked peaceful, unaware of the battle raging around them. "How do we free them?" Tay asked. Hana pulled out a medical scanner. "The pods are biologically sealed. We need to trick the ship into releasing them." She pulled out a syringe filled with blue liquid. "This chemical mimics krill digestive enzymes. The ship will think the pods are being opened for feeding." She injected the liquid into each pod. The organic seals began to dissolve. The pods opened one by one. The Lothi inside woke up confused and afraid. "Don't be scared," Hana said in the Lothi language. She had studied it on the flight here. "We're here to rescue you. Stay close to us." The 6 Lothi stumbled out of their pods. They were weak from being in stasis. Tay grabbed 2 of them, supporting their weight. Hana took 2 more. The other 2 Lothi held onto them. "We've got them!" Tay shouted into his radio. "Coming back now!" "Better hurry," Wu replied. The cannon never stopped firing. "We're running low on ammo." The queen watched Tay and Hana carry her prisoners away. She stood up from her throne. She was massive, 3 times larger than her warriors. Her voice boomed again, but this time the words were in galactic common language. "You are brave, soft creatures, but bravery is foolish. You are 5. We are thousands. You cannot win. Give back my food and I will kill you quickly. Refuse and I will make you suffer for days. Tay looked at the queen. Even carrying 2 lothi, he stood tall. These aren't your food. They're people. And we're taking them home. The queen laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Your species does not understand. We are the strong. We take what we want. We consume the weak. This is the natural order of the universe. Maybe, Tay said. But here's something you don't understand about humans. We don't care about your natural order. We make our own rules, and our rule is simple. Nobody eats our friends. The queen's eyes narrowed. Then die with them. She roared. Every krill in the chamber charged at once. It was a wave of blades and teeth and rage. Even Ghost Unit couldn't fight that many. Tay made a decision. He pulled a device from his belt. It was small, black, and covered in warning labels. Everyone, close your eyes and cover your ears. Now! The team obeyed instantly. Tay pressed the button on the device. Then he threw it into the air. The device exploded with light and sound and something else. An electromagnetic pulse mixed with a neurological shock wave. The pulse was tuned specifically to krill biology. It hit every krill nervous system like a hammer. Every krill in the chamber collapsed. Warriors, workers, even the queen. They fell to the ground, paralyzed. Their bodies twitched, but couldn't move. The effect would last for hours. The team stood in the sudden silence. Hundreds of krill lay motionless around them. The battle was over. Move, Tay ordered. That device burned out our stealth ship's jump drive. We can't leave the system on our own. They ran back toward the entrance, carrying the 6 lothi. The corridors were clear now. All the krill were paralyzed. Ghost Unit retraced their path quickly. When they reached the breach point where they had entered, Tay activated his long-range communicator. Admiral Han, this is Ghost Actual. We have all 6 packages, but our ship is damaged. We need immediate extraction, a woman's voice replied. She sounded calm despite the situation. Ghost Actual, this is Admiral Sora Han. We've been waiting for your call. Look outside. They reached the whisper and looked at the external cameras. What they saw made them smile. 40 human warships surrounded the krill nest ship. They had been hiding in stealth mode the entire time. Now they revealed themselves, weapons charged and ready. Ghost Protocol has 2 stages, Admiral Sora's voice explained. Stage 1 is stealth rescue. You handled that. Stage 2 is what happens if Stage 1 fails or if we need to send a message. Today, we're sending a message. In the observation room, Commander Vex watched his screens in shock. How long have those ships been there? The whole time, Rena answered. Did you really think we'd send 5 soldiers into danger without backup? Admiral Sora's voice broadcast across all frequencies, including the Council's observation channel. Attention, Krill vessel. You attacked peaceful scientists. You have terrorized this galaxy for too long. This ends now. Any krill who wish to surrender have 30 seconds to abandon ship. After that, we will destroy you. 30 seconds passed. No krill left the ship. Maybe they were still paralyzed. Maybe they were too proud. Maybe they didn't believe humans would really do it. They learned the truth when 40 warships opened fire at once. The krill nest ship, which had survived for centuries, which had destroyed entire fleets, broke apart under the combined assault. It took less than 5 minutes to completely destroy it. Ghost Unit watched from the whisper as they flew toward the fleet. The 6 lothi were safe in the medical bay. The mission was complete. Did we really just destroy an entire krill nest ship? Mira asked. They had a choice, Tay said. They chose wrong. Wu was checking his cannon. How much ammunition did I use? 60%, Jin replied, looking at the statistics. You're getting efficient. Hana was treating the lothi, making sure they were healthy. They're going to be okay. Weak, but okay. They'll need a few days of rest, but they'll fully recover. A transport ship from the fleet came alongside. Admiral Sora herself was on board. She came to the Whisper to meet Ghost Unit personally. "Good work," she said simply. "The galaxy is watching. You've made quite an impression." "Just doing our job," Tay replied. Admiral Sora looked at the 6 Lothi. 6 lives. That's what this was all about. 6 people whom most of the galaxy had written off as dead. But not us. Never us. Never us, Ghost Unit agreed. The fleet turned toward Council space. They carried with them 6 rescued Lothi, 5 soldiers who had done the impossible, and a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity had shown what it could do, and they had shown why you never, ever threaten innocent people when humans are watching. The Galactic Council chamber was packed. Every seat was filled. Representatives from hundreds of species wanted to see this. News of what happened had spread across the galaxy in days. The Krill. Terror of the void for centuries had been destroyed by humans. Everyone wanted to understand how. Ambassador Rena stood at the human section. Captain Day was beside her. They waited patiently while the council members talked among themselves. The noise was incredible. So many voices in so many languages. Commander Vex called for order. His 4 arms gestured for silence. Slowly, the chamber quieted down. "We are here to discuss recent events in the Void Reach sector," Vex began. "The Lothi research vessel was attacked by Krill forces. 6 Lothi scientists were taken prisoner. The council debated what to do. Humanity chose to act." He paused, looking at the human section. 5 human soldiers infiltrated a Krill nest ship. They extracted all 6 prisoners successfully. Then a human fleet destroyed the Krill ship completely. "We have all seen the recordings. What we don't understand is how." Murmurs spread through the chamber again. Vex raised his voice. "We have invited the leader of the rescue team to explain. Please welcome Colonel Tae-Yoon." A hologram appeared above the council floor. Colonel Tay stood in his uniform. He looked tired, but calm. Ghost Unit was back at their base, but Tay had agreed to give this testimony. "Thank you, Commander Vex," Tay said. His voice was clear and confident. "I'll be happy to answer questions." An alien with tentacles spoke first. "Colonel, our records show the Krill have destroyed entire battle fleets, fleets of hundreds of ships with thousands of soldiers. How did 5 humans succeed where we failed?" Tay considered his answer carefully. "You failed because you fought them the way they expected. You brought big fleets. They brought bigger fleets. You brought powerful weapons. They brought more powerful weapons. You played their game, and in their game, they always win." "So you didn't fight them?" another council member asked, confused. "We fought them," Tay corrected, "but we fought them our way. We used stealth instead of fleets. We used precision instead of overwhelming force. We studied their biology, their psychology, their tactics. Then we used all of that against them." Commander Vex leaned forward. "But your species is young. You've been in space for less than 300 years. Most of us have been exploring the galaxy for thousands of years. How did you develop such advanced tactics?" Tay's expression became serious. "Because humans have been fighting each other for our entire history. Wars, battles, conflicts. We've tried every possible way to hurt each other. We've learned from every failure. We've perfected the art of warfare over millennia. The Krill were dangerous, yes, but compared to human military history, they were predictable." The chamber was silent. Many council members looked uncomfortable. They had always thought of humans as the new species, the young ones who needed guidance. Now they were learning the truth. A small alien with large eyes spoke up. "You make it sound like violence is something to be proud of." "No," Tay said firmly. "Violence is terrible. War is tragedy. But the ability to fight, the ability to protect others, that's different. We don't seek violence, but when innocent people need help, we're ready." Rena stood up. "If I may add something, humans have a saying, hope for the best, Prepare for the worst. We hoped the Lothi would be safe. We hoped the galaxy would protect them. But when hope failed, we were prepared. That's what Ghost Protocol means. Being ready for the worst so that innocents don't have to suffer. A council member from a warrior species spoke. Can you teach us these tactics? Share your military knowledge? Tay shook his head. Our tactics only work because of our training, our technology, and our mindset. You can't just copy what we do. You have to understand why we do it. Then help us understand, Commander Vex said. Please. Tay thought for a moment. The council fights honorably. You have rules of engagement. You try to minimize casualties. You fight wars like they're sporting events with rules that everyone agrees to follow. That's admirable. But the Krill don't follow rules. They don't care about honor. They only understand strength. He paused. Humans learned a long time ago that sometimes, to protect the innocent, you have to fight without rules. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes. Not because you want to, but because the alternative is letting good people die. The doors to the chamber opened. 6 Lothi walked in. They were healthy now, recovered from their ordeal. Nira led them. She walked to the center of the chamber. May I speak? Nira asked quietly. Of course, Vex said. Nira looked around at all the council members. When my ship was attacked, I sent a distress signal to the council. I begged for help. The response I received was a message telling us to accept our fate, telling us the Krill were too dangerous to fight, telling us to die with dignity. Her voice grew stronger. Then humans received the same signal. They didn't send a message. They sent soldiers. 5 people risked their lives to save 6. Not because we're important, not because we're powerful, but because to humans, every life matters, even ours. She turned to face the human section. My entire species owes humanity a debt we can never repay. You didn't abandon us. You didn't write us off as acceptable losses. You came for us, and I will never forget that. The 6 Lothi bowed deeply to Rena and Day. Many council members looked ashamed. The tentacled alien spoke again. Ambassador Rena, the council would like to grant humanity full military cooperation rights. We want you to help us defend this galaxy from threats like the Krill. Rena nodded. We accept, but understand this. We will not conquer. We will not colonize. We will not impose our will on others. We will only act when innocent lives are at stake, and we will always try diplomacy first. But if diplomacy fails, Vex asked. Then we finish the fight, Rena said simply. Quickly, efficiently, and permanently. The council voted. It was unanimous. Humans were now authorized to respond to military threats across council space. It was an incredible amount of trust for such a young species. After the official meeting ended, Vex approached Day privately. Captain, may I ask you something? Of course. How many units like Ghost Unit does humanity have? Day smiled. It was the smile of someone keeping a secret. That's classified information, Commander. Please, Vex said. I need to know. For my own peace of mind. Day considered. I can tell you this much. Ghost Unit isn't even our most dangerous team. They're our most diplomatic one. We send them when we want to solve problems quietly. Vex looked shocked. You have teams more dangerous than the ones who destroyed a krill nest ship? Several, Day confirmed. But you'll never meet them. And pray you never need them. What could possibly be more dangerous? You don't want to know, Day said. Trust me on this. Vex watched the captain walk away. For the first time in his long life, he was genuinely afraid. Not of the krill or any other enemy species, but of what humanity might be capable of if they were ever truly threatened. Across human space, hidden bases powered up. More teams like Ghost Unit prepared for deployment. The galaxy was large, and there were many threats, many innocent people who needed protection. and now humanity had permission to help them all. In the asteroid base called Dark Water, Ghost Unit gathered in their common room. They were relaxing after the mission. Mira was cleaning her equipment. Jin was reading. Hana was studying. Wu was exercising. Colonel Tay sat at his desk reviewing reports. A new alert came through. Another distress signal, this time from a mining colony under attack by pirates. The colony had asked the council for help 3 times. Each time they were told help would take weeks to arrive. Tay read the message. Then he looked at his team. Gear up. We have work to do. They moved without complaint. This was their purpose. This was what they did. Save people who needed saving. Stop threats that needed stopping. Be the shield that protected the innocent. As the Whisper left the asteroid base, Tay thought about the council meeting, about how shocked they were by what humans could do, about how they couldn't understand where this capability came from. The truth was simple. Humanity had spent thousands of years learning how to destroy each other. They had perfected warfare, tactics, and violence. But then they made a choice. They chose to use those skills to protect instead of conquer, to save instead of destroy. The galaxy was learning what that meant. When you threaten innocent people, when you hurt those who can't defend themselves, humans will come for you. Not with mercy, not with hesitation, but with the full force of millennia of military evolution, focused on a single purpose. And that purpose was simple. No one gets left behind. Ever. The Whisper disappeared into the darkness of space. Somewhere out there, people needed help, and Ghost Unit was on the way. Just another day, just another mission, just another chance to show the galaxy what humanity really stood for. Not war, not conquest, not domination, but protection. At any cost, by any means necessary. Because some things were worth fighting for, some things were worth any sacrifice. And the lives of 6 Lothi scientists had proven that to everyone watching. One distress signal, one plea for help, and humanity had unleashed its most lethal unit. The galaxy would never forget, and humanity would never stop. There were too many people who needed saving, too many threats that needed ending, too many times when someone had to stand up and say, "No more." Ghost Unit was ready, humanity was ready, and the galaxy was safer because of it.